Well, good morning guys and welcome to the show. Today we're going to take a look at a new fuse distribution block from the folks over at Memphis Car Audio. This thing is pretty cool. When I saw it, I was super excited and I begged them to send me one. It's here. It's time for you guys to find out why. Stay tuned. Memphis Audio is best known for making subwoofers, amplifiers, speakers, reasonably priced, high quality stuff, not distribution blocks. However, I was talking with them and they were like, yeah, I was putting some of this stuff in my car. We have a new DSP and I didn't know where to tap into my DSP and I was looking for other people. Well, needless to say, after him talking to me for a while, he said, I came up with this idea. I knew we had to make it. And then me being the guy that just loves power distribution blocks and just different functionality of them was like, can I get one? Please, 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 can I have one? And it's here. Part number for this is the DBLOCKPGM. Comes in this cool blue box. If you're a dealer, it's easy to hang up on the shelf. It's taped on both ends, which is really nice because it does have some weight to it. Now, like always, let's take a look at the box before we open it and just kind of get a feel for what this tells us other than a part number. Around the hole here, it says experience true sound with Memphis connection wire and accessories, designed and developed in the United States. Marine grade 6-way power ground distribution block, 3/0/4 inputs and 4/8 gauge and 8 14/16 gauge outputs. On the back, IPX5 marine grade construction, compact distribution block design, sturdy screw-in terminals, high temperature, heavy duty, transparent protective cover. There's a whole bunch of wording on this for sure. Memphis Connect down here on the bottom talks about run multiple accessories off with this convenient water resistant hub. Connect your amplifiers and accessories, power and ground with fuse protection. And then it gives some ideas, LED lights, electronics, DSPs, coolers, a whole bunch of fun stuff like that. We've already cut this open. Let's remove our little tongue and slide this guy out. It comes packaged in a shrink wrapped blown plastic housing, so it's in there nice and tight. Inside there is a bag of parts, small ring terminals that come both positive and negative, which we'll explain in a little bit. But let's take a closer look at it. As far as fuse distribution blocks go, this side here looks pretty normal. But this side here, well, it kind of looks normal, but it's a little different. Flipping it up on the side, we see our standard 4 big holes, and we have these smaller ones here, and then they go all the way up into the clear top. On the back side, we have 3 inputs. Now these are all rubber grommets that are easily removed. It's a double grommet, so depending on the size wire you're going to be using, if you're going to be using 4 on this side, you can leave it in, as well as you can remove it for the 0 gauge. That means that it has both 0 and 4 gauge power input. Now on the opposite side, it's the same way. You pull one of these little guys out here. If you're gonna be running 8 gauge out, you can remove it, and now you can run 4 gauge out if you want. On the sides, it has a push tab that will allow you to pop the top off. Now that top grommet, as you can see, it has these cuts in it, and the reason for that is when you do connect the wire, it can easily snap through it, and you can put the top back on, and then of course remove the top without it getting in the way. Build quality on something like this obviously is super important. This is your power distribution hub. If this thing sucks, or if it's gonna melt, or it's made out of substandard product, then it is just, it's not worth it. As you can see from this back rail here, this front rail, these are like a 1/4 inch thick pieces of plastic. You can kind of see it by looking in and how far that is inset. As far as between the 2 fuse holders, there is plastic paneling between this power and this ground bus. The buses themselves are inset into the plastic. It's not like they're riding on top. It's down into it. It was designed with a tunnel for that to set into, which is really cool. It's the little things. It uses all T20 Torx head screws, which I'm a big fan of. The way the top snatches in, and then this little guy right here that is locked into place, and it is a T20 on both ends, so you can get down into it with no problems. This is just the extra little thought they put into it. Now as far as when that snaps on, it snaps on nice and tight. I'm holding it just from the top here, and it's not coming off. It's locked in there. Yeah, There you go. I had to really pull it to get it apart. That's awesome. This means it won't just flop around in the back of the car and fall off. Your screw holes are located inside, so they're not sticking way out here and they don't have the little Mickey Mouse ears coming off. And this grommet is actually glued into place. It's not just stuck up in there. Let's start with this side of this guy here first. The center hole here is designed to pass the ground through to this bus bar. One of the unique things about this, those grommets here in the center, it is actually a dual grommet. This whole black piece comes out. That does make it a little bit easier to get the dual 4 gauge in. You can remove the 2 orange covers and still put that back in if you need to. It is a Torx head screw, kind I like. And then it also has a ball head on the end. The ball head end, to me, is the new standard. All fused distribution blocks should be using this because it just allows it to come and couple nicely. When you have a square tip screw and you're putting it into a circle, it will never get fully tight, whereas this ball matches the circle that this is. So it just makes for a better connection as you're tightening it down. Now I know you're never gonna get this fully down all the way. It's not like you're gonna compress it so that it's so thin. However, it just does a much nicer job. Now inside there is also a little rubber piece that is in here that needs to be removed. This guy right here, that's to prevent this from coming loose through shipping because this is putting a little back pressure on it. Moving on to the front 2 ground screws. They're the same ball head, just a smaller version. Still uses a Torx, and if you stick it in, you can pull out the little rubber piece that is in there. Power wise on this, it has the 2 inputs. You only need to use one, obviously, because there's a bus going across internally. This is a solid piece with a hole through the center of it. Use whichever one is convenient, or if you need to come back out and go to a secondary fuse holder or whatever it is, you have the option. To tighten it, it uses this back screw here and is identical screw to the ground that is located here. To attach the fuse, uses this very short pan head screw, and why it's like that is important. Let's remove the front one here. Same short pan head screw. Down inside of this hole now is a secondary screw. This guy right here. And the reason for this is that 4 gauge that is going to go into here, it needs a way to screw in. It can't screw in through the side because of this side here. This bus bar would be in the way. Their solution to this problem was to make this a little taller and allow you to have a double screw that'll screw down in and tighten to that 8 or 4 gauge. But then when you go to put your fuse in, you still have plenty of travel to make sure that this tightens up nice and solid onto the top of this. That's why they use 2 short screws in case you get front and back wrong. You have no problems with that. And for this side, it works the exact same way. As you can see the little rubber thing in there, the screw comes down. Let's move on to the secondary, smaller side power distribution that this has. If you can see here, down in the bottom, there is this cool trace that moves along here and into here. It's not a solder trace, it's a physical bus bar that comes off of this ground to these grounds here. Your ground goes in, tightens down. If your top goes back on, sticks through easily enough. You can pop that off. And then this back row here, as you can see from this 15 amp fuse, you have 4 power output sides. Now this is going to be constant 12 volts because it's coming off of this bus bar here. It's located down here. You can kind of see it right there. Comes off of here and attaches to this. This back side here is going to be where the 12 volts is located, and then it'll pass through the fuse here like so, and now this will be a fused output. To do that, remove the small Torx screw that is identical to the ground screw. Pull out our orange grommet. You can thread the orange grommet through if you like. Put it through the hole, replace the screw, push the orange grommet back into place, and now you have a fused 12 volt output. And with this, you have 4 fused outputs as well as 4 ground outputs. Alright guys, there you go. This is our first look at the new Memphis Audio DBLOCKPGM power distribution block for multiple size applications. Small, big. Fernando, if you please.
On to the next one, guys.
You guys have a great night as always. We'll see you later next time.
Bye.
Bye.